few days ago, a woman came into my office to look at the school for her grandson, who is in third grade, and to get a sense of where he was in relation to our third graders, especially in a subject like math. She was asking me about our curriculum. So since I knew that one of the defining features of the third grade math curriculum was long division, I asked her whether he's done any long division yet. She stopped cold and said, "I don't think he's covered division at all yet," which is a little disturbing for us here since we introduced the concept of division in the kindergarten first grade class. But anyway, I said, "So what is he doing in his third grade class at the public school he attends?" And she said, "He's doing addition of fractions and reducing fractions." Okay. How do you reduce fractions without division? I'm not really sure. So I asked her that question and she said, "I know. I found it impossible to explain to him without division." So I went to the teacher and I asked her, "How do I help him with reducing fractions without the concept of division?" And the teacher's answer was, "Oh, don't worry, we're almost done with that section." My daughter's reacting with horror behind the camera. So, which she should. So what does that say? What does that reflect about the curriculum? That they're just going through the motions, whatever topics were assigned and the duration they were assigned. We just teach that for a certain period of time. If they don't get it, doesn't matter. So it's like they're just following a mandated schedule, no concern for what should come before, what needs to come before, whether they have the ability to master this new concept because they've been given the tools that are prerequisites of that concept, no concern with whether they actually master it before they move on to the next thing. So it's just this feeling of going through motions with no feeling of urgency that the material being presented needs to be understood and mastered, and that's the whole goal. So it's a reflection both on the attitude of the school and certainly a projection of that attitude to the student and how he should feel about what he's learning. So I just wanted to contrast that with something that went on in my class last week. I've mentioned in a previous blog that I had a writing assignment that was a total disaster, and the kids' sentences were incredibly awkward. And it was frustrating to grade those assignments and frustrating to try to figure out what had gone wrong. So what was my reaction? Well, I could have said, "We'll just move on past that assignment and we're done with that one now, so we'll put it behind us." But for me, the feeling was they don't get something. And the reason I'm teaching it is that they need to. And so this is an urgent, important matter. So instead, I slammed on the brakes. And that's, if you sincerely regard the material as important, if you really want the kids to understand it, you have to slam on the brakes when things like that happen. You need to either reconsider that perhaps there's something structurally wrong with your program, or you need to take whatever time is necessary to get them to master these concepts. So we, over the last few days, and this will go on for a while, spent class after class taking awkward sentences and rewriting them. That's what we're going to do. Their sentences had an awkward construction. We need to learn the principles of how to avoid that. So we're stopping. We're not moving on to the next writing assignment. We're focusing on that. And that, I think, is the attitude that every teacher has to take. If you regard your material as important, if the kids aren't getting it, slam on the brakes and go over it again until they do.